For the second half of our first lab, we're going to look at this yo-yo. It's a two-piece yo-yos that assemble, and both pieces are different configurations of the same part. So we're going to see what GrabCAD does with configurations. So first I'm going to make the default configuration active. I'm going to rebuild and I'm going to save my part. Then I'm going to come down and I'm going to open up GrabCAD Print. I'm working with the U-print again. And I'm going to add a model. So I'm going to take my yo-yo part at the assembly and I'm going to open it. And GrabCAD has inserted the configuration, the default configuration as it was saved. Nowhere did I have an option to choose which configuration I wanted to import. So if I right click here and I look, there's still no option to choose which configuration. So I'm going to go back into my SolidWorks file. I'm going to make the second side configuration active by double clicking on it. And then I'm going to rebuild and I'm going to save that part. I'm going to go back to GrabCAD Print, back to Add Models. I'm going to choose my yo-yo one part again and tell it to open it. And this time it's inserted my other configuration. So what we learned is however I've last saved my model when there's configuration, that will be the configuration that GrabCAD Print loads when I work with solid parts. If I don't want to have to remember this, I would go back to SolidWorks and I would save each configuration as a separate STL file and then add the STL files. Next, I want to place as many copies of each model on the tray as I can. So first I'm going to select this. And I'm going to look at the top view. I'll zoom out by rolling my middle mouse wheel. And I want to place these as close to the edge as I can. And I'll take this one as well. And I want to place it here. Notice the blue outline around it. If I get it too close, it won't be able to create the support material into print. So I'm going to put it reasonably close. And the grid layout here is showing me I probably can't get 4 rows. As soon as that blue goes beyond the white, it won't be able to print it. It's really close. So if I really wanted to get essentially one part in each square of this, I would need to scale the parts and make them slightly smaller, which isn't a bad idea because it's just a yo-yo, which is a children's toy. The problem I have if I scale these parts, as designed, the press fit or the thread may not work. So I won't scale the part. I do want to see how many of these I can fit onto this tray and get as many as possible. So I'm going to put this close as I can. And I'm going to try and force 3 rows this way. But as soon as I release it and I get the red line, it's telling me, sorry, but I can't print that. It's out of the bounds of the print. So I'll have to move it over just a little. And it's letting me know it's not contained within the build volume. So here it seems to be. So what I want to now do is I want to duplicate these parts. I can right click on the part and duplicate it, or I can come up here and right click on the part and duplicate it. So I'm going to duplicate this part. It's going to ask me how many duplicates. For now I'm going to tell it 3 and then I'll say create. So when I created 3, I've got 3 new parts. And again, I'm going to need to rearrange these, and they're moving as a group because they're all selected. So I'll just click on the tray, and now none of them are selected. Now I can select them one at a time and replace them and see what I can do about fitting them on the tray. So I'm going to add this one here. So again, how did I duplicate? I'm going to right click on this part. I'm going to choose duplicate. This time I'm going to tell it to give me 3 duplicates as well, and I'll say create. They're all here and they're all grouped. There's a warning here because this part is off the tray, but I'll click here in white space to stop that. And then I'll select this part. I'll click and hold and drag it up into this location. And I'll do the same with these. So I'm duplicating them, putting them on the tray. And I want to duplicate each one of these again 2 more times. So I'm going to right click, select duplicate, add to, tell it to create, click to deselect both, and then I'll reposition both of these. And one more time on this part, I'll right click, tell it to duplicate, make two, create, click in space, select one, drag it onto the tray, select the other, drag it onto the tray. I have no warnings. All my parts had no errors. So I'm going to accept the defaults for now and just see what the estimate is. It's going to take a minute to build the estimate. And then I'm going to get a warning. Generated parts are not wholly contained within the build volume. So I'm going to cancel that. And again, I was worried about that. I can try and tweak them and see if I can't get them all on the tray, or I might have to remove some parts. In the next video, we're going to look at the various infill settings for this tray.